Welcome to the Get Outside Earth Day event, everyone. We're very happy to have you here. About a month ago, we realized we couldn't do our event in person. And so we switched to an online event. So I'm excited. All the partners came together and we came up with a way to encourage people to get outside and explore nature during Earth Day. Well, I guess Earth Day was 2 days ago, but on the weekend. So I just want to acknowledge that Regina is on the traditional lands referred to as Treaty 4 territory. These are the original lands of the Nahiawak or Cree, the Unayapayok or Saulteaux, the Dakota, Nakota, Lakota Nation. I'm really looking forward to all the presentations today for Earth Day because I think it really provides an opportunity for us to think about our connection to the land and the different things that we have in our community. So the virtual event today will happen from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. 30 minutes. The sessions will also be available for viewing on the Nature Regina website after the event. So we're inviting you to watch the webinar, download the activity from each session. Will have an activity you can do in your own neighborhood, and then head outside and try it out in your own neighborhood or in your own community. We are very excited to bring the event to you online at Nature Regina Wild Outside, which is a program through the Canadian Wildlife Federation, Nature Conservancy of Canada, Nature Saskatchewan, the Saskatchewan Wildlife Federation, and the Royal Saskatchewan Museum have all partnered to bring this event to you today. So we also want to thank the City of Regina because they provided funding to make the event possible. And a big thanks to all the partners for figuring out how to bring nature online for people. A unique experience for most of us. I know it is for me. So during the session, if you have them in the chat, and then after each presentation, we will try to get through as many questions as we can. And yeah, let's try this out and have some fun today. So Kayla Burrick is with the Nature Conservancy of Canada, and she is doing the first presentation today about mental health and nature. So I'm going to turn it over to Kayla.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to try this and put it in full screen. Can you see my screen right now?
Yes, we can, Kayla.
How about now?
Yep, full screen.
Beautiful. Can you see my slides change?
Yes.
Yes,
all right.
They are changing. Yeah.
PDF it is then for the win. All right. Oh, technology. Okay. Well, thanks everyone for joining us this morning. Earth Day, and I saw this message a lot from people out there, just especially on social media, that I think people are really starting to think of all these tips and all these ideas that are coming out on days like Earth Day that are just on our calendar. They're thinking about it for how they can incorporate some of these things into every day throughout the year. So it's really inspired me. So I hope that everyone watching can find some inspiration and think about how they can do some of these things and everything you'll hear about today outside by yourself, with some friends or family when it's safe. And yeah, so here we go. So I'm just going to be talking a bit about I'll just start out talking just a bit about NCC and some different activities you can do outside with your friends or your family, by yourself, to help with your mental health and physical health. I just need to close this little window here. All right. So Nature Conservancy of Canada, our mission here is to lead and inspire everyone to join us in creating a legacy for future generations by conserving important areas across Canada. So across Canada, since 1962, we have conserved 14 million hectares or 35 million acres. That's 20 times the size of Banff National Park. And we have now over 220 species at risk that occur on NCC-owned properties. In Saskatchewan, we have conserved over 189,000 hectares, and that's 300 properties that are conserved and cared for forever. We first secure the land, either through purchasing it outright or through a conservation easement. of course, steward that land and manage it. We do some science to help to make sure that stewardship is always improving. And of course, the fundraising and engagement activities to support that important work. So I did have a video there that I'm unable to show you, unfortunately, but that's okay. Maybe we can pop it up on the Nature Regina website for everyone to enjoy afterwards. So just a bit about our brains on nature and mental health during COVID. Everyone knows by now and probably has experienced firsthand can really help us through tough times. Nature's quiet, it's resilient, and it really allows us a place to just sit down and reflect. And nature listens. And if you listen quietly enough, I think she talks back. And I think that she provides a place for us to just reflect and quiet the world around us and truly remember what is important in our lives. And everyone's heard and read the articles this past year about the science behind this and how just even getting outside for 5 minutes a day can help improve your mental and physical health just by reducing blood pressure and things like that. So in advance here, I would like to give a thank you to these 4 people, Sage Yathon, Emily Hammer, Heather Pete Ham, and Krista Bannon. They provided a lot of the content in my following slides to help me develop a nature therapy blog series. So I just wanted to thank them now for their input and expertise for me to help develop some of the following activities. The first activity I'm going to talk about is fabric dyeing. So what you'll need for this is a large pot, a spoon, and a stovetop. 100% cotton fabric or clothing, whatever you want to dye. I've seen like hair ties, hair bows for little kids. Shirts are really popular, bandanas, you can do anything really. Vinegar, and then your different vegetables or fruits that you can play around with. My friend Sage that I've been working with on this, that for this particular blog used avocados to get kind of this pinky peach color here you see right here. Yellow onions turn into a yellow orangey, and black beans turn into a purple blue. So the longer you leave these materials in the dyes, color will be, and every time will be different. And these sorts of activities are just a lot of fun because you can play around with it and it will be different every time, just based on the concentrations of that particular food that you're using. And that's, I think, the really fun part. So all of the directions for these activities will be up on the Nature Regina website in the document that I provided them, so that you can get a step-by-step instruction. All right, the second activity I'll talk about is leaf printing. So just a little note here to only gather plants from your yard and don't pick plants that you're not familiar with, in case if you don't know that it's at risk, or if you're in Ontario or somewhere where there's a few more poisonous plants. So only pick what you know what it is, and don't pick anything from a sensitive or protected area. So for this, you'll need cotton fabric again, white vinegar, leaves and flowers of your choosing, a hammer, a wood cutting board or hard surface, like even a countertop should work, or a piece of wood underneath, and an iron. And so I've seen people do this on this fabric and then put them in picture frames, or just hang them on the wall, or even do it onto a shirt or different material to wear. Really, the possibilities are endless with these two. And again, every time you will be different. There's no right or wrong way to do it. And just it's an outlet. My friend that does this, whenever she is having a really hard time this week, she does this. It's just an outlet. It's a creative outlet to just be distracted from the world around us and create something beautiful. The third activity is nature photography. So this is something that pretty much anyone can try. You don't have to have a fancy camera. Smartphones these days are capable of so much, and there's different attachments you can even get for your cell phone to from different macro and micro lenses for your cell phone, which I think is so neat. So find what you have, what your passion for taking photos of is. For me, I cannot take photos of nature or landscape for the life of me, but I love photographing people. That's what works for me. So that's what I do. That's what I love doing. And so, anytime you're in nature and something catches your eye, just snap a photo of it and create a little challenge for yourself. Maybe at the end of a week or a month, you can make a collage of your photos and share it. It's a really good way just to get comfortable with the world around you, and start to learn about the world around you. And you can ask people what you're taking pictures of and that kind of thing. And another great thing to watch is a webinar we did in the fall with 3 professional nature photographers. And that link will be in that document as well. That will be on the website. And that gives some really good tips and tricks for nature photography. 4th activity is nature mandalas. So this is something that's, again, really easy to do. You can do by yourself or with someone else, and just another really cool creative outlet. So in a yard or a field, you can collect anything that catches your eye, and you can start to arrange them in different shapes. You can take turns with someone else creating the rings. It's just a really cool creative activity to just, again, kind of relax you. And again, just a little notice that to put materials back when your activity is complete, and try to just take materials from an area that you know. Right. All right, the 5th activity is watercolor. This is one I wanted to talk about because it's one of the easiest mediums to start with. If you are like myself and have, I'm not going to say no because I've gotten better, but minimal creative bones in you, this is a really good one to start with because it's forgiving and you can build on it. You can keep kind of building on it. It's buildable, that's the word. So while standing outside, you can take some watercolor paints. Thick and slightly textured paper works best. And you can start painting what you see, a tree, the grass, sky, or something that's in your head, maybe your favorite place you used to go as a child, and that you want to capture and put down on that paper. And again, don't worry about capturing it perfectly. That's not the point. The point is to make it yours. And you can even create your own nature art therapy kit. So in just a bag or a backpack that you have, throw some art materials in there so that when you're inspired or when you need to get out of the house, you can just go. So some crayons, some paper, whatever it might be. So you can just hit the road, go to your favorite park and just sit down and create something beautiful. This one is my personal favorite activity, sit spots. So you can find a nice quiet park or even in your backyard, just sit, lay down, take some deep breaths, go through your 5 senses. I mean, maybe not what you taste, but what do you see? What do you touch? What do you hear? What can you smell? Think about things that are kind of coming into your head. Like, what are you having a hard time trying to describe? What do you hear? What is that? What's nature? What's that role in nature? Maybe something you want to look up after. And then as your mind starts to settle, start thinking about what's kind of weighing on your mind and why, and just reflect on that. And then when you feel ready, set an intention for yourself, something that you would like to do for yourself, work on, something that you've been wanting to tell someone. Just thinking about an obstacle and how you can move past it or overcome it. Just a really nice way to, again, just to sit there and let Mother Nature listen. Sound walks. I just discovered this past summer. This is something Heather Peatham told me about that she does. And it was so neat to learn about. It's literally all you need is a safe place to walk and your ears. You can explore different areas and notice that when you close your eyes, your other senses are heightened. So, our world is inundated with visual information. That's the first thing we think of, what we see, and that's kind of what we go to for our information. But by closing your eyes, your other senses become heightened. So you can go with a family member, that probably safest to start. And you guys can take turns closing your eyes and talking about the different things that you notice and don't notice. It's actually pretty powerful to learn just to concentrate on what you're hearing and not just what you're seeing. And the last activity I'm going to talk about is yoga and meditation. And I used to find the word meditation very intimidating and kind of clicky. And I don't know, it's just not something I ever pictured myself doing it until I started doing it and realized that there are no rules with meditation. Just find a spot that you feel comfortable and safe. Set your intentions. Why am I doing this? What do I want to get out of this? And it could just be to take some deep breaths and calm down. That could be your intention, that's fine. Or maybe there's something that you want to do next week and you need to set that intention for yourself. But just, there's lots of good stuff that you can listen to help with this, or even just some music. But just breathe and just be present. Just feel your breath flow in and out. And then, of course, finish with gratitude. And it's just, again, just a great way to feel grounded and remind yourself that even though things can be tough sometimes, there's always a way through it, and that you're stronger than you think you are sometimes. So that's it for me. I'm just going to share just a few ways that you can connect further with Nature Conservancy of Canada, and find some even more resources for you to do outdoors. So if you just Google small acts of conservation, there's a big list of things that you can go and look at, instructions on how to build bird houses, bat houses, how to bird in your own backyard, which I know other people will be talking about today. You can also do what's called Nature Score, and you take a little quiz, and then you're actually set up with a nature coach who emails you and checks in with you weekly about different goals that you're setting for yourself outdoors. So that's a really neat program. Our Nature Destinations program are some of our properties that are highlighted across the country with maps. So you can go on there and see what properties are close to you that you can go visit. And this year, like everyone else, we've shifted to webinars. So if you go to our events page, you'll find a whole list of Nature Talks webinars with a huge variety of topics that you can go back and listen to. All right, so with that, any questions, comments, anything?
If anyone has any questions, you can feel free to put them in the chat, or there is a Q&A function as well on the bottom of the screen there.
Doesn't look like it.
I'll hang out with you while we wait. So you're not alone. And then I'll just say my closing stuff in probably like 6 minutes or something. But
sounds good.
I guess while we wait to see if anyone has any questions, what you may have mentioned, but like, what is your absolute favorite thing to do outside for your mental health? And then what is your like on your own, and then with your daughter and with your partner?
I think my favorite thing to do outside by myself are just sit spots. And I just, when I was kind of learning about them and trying to learn about how I could do them with different people in different groups, I just realized that there are no rules, that you can make it whatever you want to be. And I think that's the beautiful thing about it. And just that it's so flexible and adaptable to whatever you want it to be. You can go, and you can incorporate it with a sound walk and some art, right? That's so I take out when we go out for our little hikes with my daughter, and I just veer off and go out on my own sometimes with my little kit. And I don't have a creative bone in my body. I'm not an artist. But just to be able just to like ground yourself and center and just put something down on paper, even if it's just scribbles, it's just something, just to calm myself down, I think has been my favorite thing. And and then with my favorite thing with my daughter, I'm just running around. She just, she's 4 and she just likes to run around and pull the grass and do silly stuff and do things that I wouldn't have thought of doing outside, which is kind of cool. Which kind of opens our eyes to the things that are fun that we forget about.
Absolutely. And those small little details too that we overlook once we're older.
Definitely.
I guess too, for those attending and those watching the recording, do you have any tips when it comes to taking your 4-year-old outdoors?
Ooh,
Like
that's a
how
good
long can she,
question.
how long does she like to go for hikes, or, what things keep her interest?
Yeah, she's pretty good. This past winter we went to our Fairy Hill property, which is one of our nature destinations properties just north of Regina. It was cold out, but it was winter, and it's a 6-kilometer trail. And she did the whole trail by herself. She just did the last little bit on her dad's shoulders. But she did that whole 6-kilometer trail in the winter. For her, she likes being independent, and so she has a little kid backpack that she likes to take. Yeah, exactly, snacks, as I was just gonna say. And good footwear is key. Honestly, the rest I cheap out on what I don't, yeah, but her good footwear for her and good socks, good wool socks has been really important. She doesn't like cold feet. And or her shoes slipping off. So I invest in good runners and good winter boots for her and good socks, but that's and she has her own little backpack, and that's about it. That's what has worked for her. Yeah.
Absolutely. Another question, since just on the topic of taking your daughter out, I guess would also be like I've noticed that I've got a couple personal friends that are very outdoorsy that have actually been taking their child out with them camping since he was an absolute baby. So like, when did you start incorporating like nature into her life, and in what ways?
Same thing, when she was a baby. Yeah. And something else that popped into my head when you said camping was things for her to do out there that make her feel a part of nature as well. So I got her a little camera, and it's not actually a camera. I think it can hold 30 pictures that I can still put on my computer for her. And it's like super kid resistant, and be dropped everywhere and dropped in water. But she can start taking pictures, and then I put them on the computer, and then we look at them after. And so it's cute. It's a bit hard for her to grasp still, but it's something for her that she can kind of hopefully start to develop a little hobby. But no, we've been taking her out since she was a baby as well. And she calls them her adventures. So every weekend, are we going on an adventure today?
It's adorable. Yeah. I love it. Another question that came into my head, last one, I promise, and then I'll do my closing thing. Your favorite things to ground yourself, or just to kind of be one with nature in the winter? I struggle with the cold.
Yes. So, yeah, so do I, for sure. We definitely don't do quite as much in the winter, and we definitely do more just in our backyard. I think that's one thing that we really did more of this year than previous years, was more in our backyard. So just like we would put different dyes in spray bottles and make like snow art in the backyard and things like that. And I looked up a few different like games we could play in the backyard with snow. We did a lot more, now that our daughter is a bit older, we did a lot more skating and tobogganing and things like that. But taking advantage of what is in your backyard and what you can use is actually, there's more than you think. And kids are so easily amused. They don't need a lot. Like, they're happy to go tromping around in there.
Absolutely. And even with the nature mandalas as well, there's still sticks and stones and everything under the snow as well that you could be working with. So that's a good point. That's awesome. Okay, well, I'm just going to screen share my end of presentation thing here, but I just want to say thank you so much for doing this chat today. It was absolutely wonderful. You've got some really good feedback going on in the chat as well there. So it was great to have you. Thank you so much for your help in planning this as well. That's been,
of course,
that's been awesome.